What's up, YouTubers? It's your old buddy Hardworker 12 with you here, and today I have a Nissan Rogue Sport S with all-wheel drive. Now, this particular Nissan Rogue Sport S is a 2021 model. However, it will be identical for 2022. So the information that I'm about to go over is applicable to either year. What I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to measure out the cargo space on the vehicle. We're going to look at the passenger room. I'm going to show you all the standard safety features on the Rogue Sport S. I'm going to show you the other features on the vehicle, and we'll take it for a test drive. As always, if you're interested in some of that stuff and not in others, look in the description for timestamps below. And now, let's have a look at the cargo space. Maximum width of the rear cargo area, approximately 53 inches. Minimum width of the rear cargo area, approximately 43 inches. Length of the rear cargo area with the back seats up, approximately 32.5 inches. Now, it should be noted that there's kind of a hump right here that would prevent us from making a totally flat load floor. It does seem like you can lift this floor up and put it on these things, but it's not real solid. I'll show you what that looks like. I can put it there, but it's not real solid. I would not trust that to bear any heavy loads. But with that being said, maximum length of the cargo area from the top of the back seat, with the seats folded down, 55 inches. And the height to lift something into the cargo area from the ground, approximately 31 inches. Now let's have a look at the interior space. Now it's time to measure out the passenger room, and to do this I like to use myself. I'm about 6'5", so let's see if I can sit behind myself in the Nissan Rogue Sport S. Well, the answer to this question is almost, but not really. As you can see, when you're 6'5", you can't really sit behind yourself in a Nissan Rogue S. However, if you're a normal-sized person, you'll probably be fine. On to the safety features on the Nissan Rogue Sport, and this is the S model, which is pretty much just the basic model, but it does still come with a pretty impressive list of standard safety features. First of all, on the rear, we do have rear parking sensors as standard, which is nice. It doesn't have rear automatic braking. Quick edit point here, it turns out that the Nissan Rogue Sport S does have rear emergency braking. I didn't realize that when I filmed the first portion of this video, but upon further reflection and inspection, I have discovered that that feature is present on this particular model. Now back to myself. I also have blind spot monitors as standard equipment, which again is very nice on a base model vehicle, even in this day and age. The one criticism that I have is that the light for the blind spot monitor is not mounted physically on the rearview mirror itself. It's mounted on the inside of the door, and I find that to be kind of suboptimal as far as seeing it, but it is there, and I suppose you'd get used to it. But in the week that I've been driving this car, I haven't gotten used to it yet. Of course, you also have forward collision alert and emergency braking as standard. That's rapidly becoming standard on almost every new car that you can buy, and the Nissan Rogue Sport S is no exception. And we have lane departure warning. Now, one strange thing about the safety features on this particular car is there's one button right here that turns all of them on and off, and you can leave them off for the next time that the engine is started. So it's possible to disable all the safety features, and I mean all of them. The rear parking sensors, the blind spot monitors, the forward collision alert, the emergency braking, and the lane departure warning by pushing this one button. And if you get into one of these things, like a rental car like this one is, and you don't know that, you may be driving with none of the safety features activated. And if you don't know where this little button is right here, you don't know how to turn them on. But there's the button. Right down and low to the left of the steering wheel, just so you know. Now onto the various convenience features on the Nissan Rogue Sport S. And one thing I'd like to point out is this car, even though it's a base model, does have rear air vents, which is pretty impressive for a vehicle of this size. And it's a very nice feature to have as standard without having to pay for an upgraded package. Now on to the features in the front of the Nissan Rogue Sport S, and it has pretty much what you would expect for a vehicle of this size and this class. Power windows, mirrors, and locks are standard. You do still have just a regular key that you have to put in the car and turn it to start the engine on this one. You got to go up to the higher level packages to get push button start. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are standard, as is Bluetooth and Bluetooth audio streaming. The Bluetooth audio streaming is a little wonky. I've had to turn the stereo head unit on and off a couple of times to kind of get it to reconnect, which is not a problem that I've been having in other modern vehicles. So that's a little bit of a demerit, but it is there and it does work for the most part. And one other notable feature on the Nissan Rogue Sport S is a CD player. That may sound kind of stupid, but a lot of new cars don't come with them these days. So if you're looking for a new car with a CD player, the Nissan Rogue Sport S has you covered. Now let's take it for a test drive. All right, so driving the Nissan Rogue Sport. Now, the first thing that most reviews mention about these kind of subcompact SUVs, your Rogue Sports, your Subaru Crosstreks, there's one right there, Honda HR-Vs and the like, is that they are slow and underpowered. And I actually don't feel that way about the Rogue Sport. I think that it has plenty of power for what it is. The engine actually feels energetic around town. It never feels lacking. It's only got 141 horsepower on paper, but I have to say it definitely feels like more than that. And, you know, I'm just cruising around right now at normal speeds on surface streets and just using very light throttle openings. It you know, feels like at this speed it has a surplus of power, but I have a suspicion that that's kind of partly due to the way it's geared, because if you try to go faster than 100 miles an hour in this car, it is not having any of that. It doesn't feel comfortable at those kind of speeds. But I think that's fine, because the type of person who's going to buy this car, they don't care about exceeding 100 miles an hour. So I think the power on the Rogue Sport is quite good. I will say that the cabin feels a little bit narrow. I'm kind of a taller individual, but I actually don't have super long legs, and I kind of have to adopt a weird driving position to film these POV test drive segments. But even when I'm driving it normally, it's not quite wide enough, I don't feel. Certain other cars in the class, specifically the HR-V and the Crosstrek, because those are the ones I'm the most familiar with, seem to have a little bit more room in the front. But the Rogue Sport is not bad, and if you're, you know, not as big as I am, then you'll probably be fine in it. But if you're a larger person, you may want to look elsewhere. Now, one interesting thing about the all-wheel drive version of this car is it's primarily a front-wheel drive car until it decides that it needs to send power to the rear. So for the vast majority of the time, and you can see a little graph on the center display screen, but for the vast majority of the time, it shows 100% of the power to the front wheels, and then occasionally you can get it to send some power to the rear wheels, perhaps by going through this turn slightly vigorously. Yeah, a little bit to the rear. And merging onto the highway. 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, not a problem. right over into the fast lane. Southern California traffic. Pretty light right now. It's a good thing. The highway ride is nice and composed. Not quite as smooth as a new Subaru Crosstrek, but nothing to complain about. Definitely comfortable. The steering is direct. Handling is pretty good on this car. Overall, this is a nice car to drive. I gotta say, it exceeded my expectations. I didn't really have high expectations for it, and it's a pretty decent little car. I mean, I think that, you know, especially if you like the way it looks, because it does look more like a larger SUV than a lot of its competitors. You know, the Rogue Sport is definitely worth putting on your shopping list if you're interested in one of these kind of compact SUVs, subcompact SUVs really, because the prices are reasonable. You do get good safety equipment as standard, and it's not bad to drive. You know, this is a nice little SUV that definitely does what you need it to do, and it's worth having a look at. As long as you don't need to go over 100 miles an hour uphill, you'll be fine, because I can tell you right now it won't do that. Don't ask me how I know that, though. Thank you so much for watching my review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please like and subscribe to my channel. And if you didn't enjoy it, please leave me a hateful comment in the comment section below. Thank you very much and have a great day. Bye-bye.